This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 4 on our new home, HeadGum. This is We'll See You in Hell. My name is Patrick Walsh of the Missouri Walshes. And now, on with the show. And on with the Joe!
Pat, how are you, Pat?
I'm fine.
Spirited intro from you tonight.
Walked over here, got my exercise, 2-3 miles. Nice. It's a beautiful evening here in Los Angeles. Didn't even have to remove my jacket.
It's crisp, yes. It is a gorgeous meeting. That cold air hits you.
Like biting into an apple.
It's like the
full of York peppermint patties.
Yeah. With that hot sun behind it, it's like a woman's sweaty body as her cool lips hit your forehead.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
As she places an ice cube on your smoldering taint. Right? You get that mix of hot and cold on your taint. I don't know how you make love.
You made it dirty. I was doing a kissing forehead because I was picturing an ant.
Welcome back to You Made It Dirty with your host, Pat Walsh and Joe DeRosa. This is We'll See You in Hell. Our movie this week is The Neon Demon.
As promised.
And I want to give you a little heads up for next week because this is one of the rare occurrences we know what we're doing next week. We've heard you loud and clear. You want to go back to some classic horror titles. And we start this week with John Carpenter's classic, ? Christine.
Yes.
Stephen King's. That was very ballsy that the credits, well, we'll talk about it next week, but it says John Carpenter's Christine.
All of his movies.
You don't think Stephen King gets a shout out?
All of his movies. Oh, I see what you mean. Save it. Save it.
Another guy who does that, Nicolas Refn, who directed the movie that we are going to discuss tonight.
It says Nicolas Refn's Neon Demon?
It says Nicolas Refn presents.
Oh God!
All
right, let's save this till the meat because I'm gonna dig into this guy like a all you can eat shrimp buffet tonight.
So you mean carefully because you don't want to get them shells or them turds.
Let's get into your movie corner, Pat. What movies have you seen? The rundown, as we call it.
We don't really catch up with each other anymore. It's just there's no foreplay at all. It's just a raw ram.
I can't remember at this point what's been talked about on this show, what hasn't been.
Well, we usually talk about our week or our day.
How was your day?
I'd like to talk to you about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the dog in the room. I heard, Joe, that you purchased a second dog. Is this true?
I did.
Walk us through it. Because it seems like you can't handle one.
I adopted a second dog because I want a con man here to have a friend, a partner.
Yeah.
And I had the dog for 3 days, and I said, fuck this, and brought him back to the no-kill adoption shelter where he is safe and sound. But he was just too wired. He was too crazy. You
should probably not have kids, Joe.
Well, I swear to you, all I thought the whole time was, my God, what happens if you have a kid and then this is your reaction?
You can't take them back.
You can't take them back. So I'm never having kids. I made an appointment to get the snip done.
You can walk out to get cigarettes and never come back.
You know, I get it now.
Yeah.
And I'm
sure.
sorry.
I never didn't get it. My dad used to leave for hours at a time for like rage drives.
I apologize to any listeners out there whose dads went out to get the milk and never came home.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, do I get it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't understand. Like, I just felt so trapped. And this is a dog I just adopted and was allowed to. They were, their policy is always bring them back if it's not going to work. And I did. It wasn't going to work.
Did it get along with Con?
Con wasn't too hot on him.
Sure.
Con kind of growled at him when he came near him, and I just could tell Con's kind of his own man, and
sure,
we're gonna live here together in sin,
all right.
And not we don't need to bring another dog into it.
Yeah, I mean the lady wants a second cat, and I'm just like, we struck gold with this fucking cat. It's quiet, respectful. Right. It hasn't scratched anything. I was really worried about, we got new furniture recently and shit. I was worried about it. It's just been the most chill, perfect cat. It'll sleep at the foot of the bed and not bother you.
Right.
You get that second one in there, it's a wild card, and you don't know what's coming in. And if they hate each other, you're really fucked.
Well, that was the thing, man. Was
no judgment. I understand.
That was the thing. Was when I got this other dog in here and saw him bouncing off the walls, I was like, oh, I just kind of got lucky with my other dog.
Yeah.
I mean, because Con Man,
and not even that lucky, frankly.
Come on.
Dog shat on the floor in our season premiere.
Well, it was. In all fairness, it was. Oh no, it wasn't. I was going to say that's the episode we got into the fight. Deleted.
No, it was prior to that.
He had just come home. He was a little shaken up, but he'll bark when you come to the door. But once you're in, it's fine. Look at him. He sits there. He doesn't bother anybody.
It's true.
He doesn't like going to the dog park. He doesn't want to hang out with other dogs. He just wants to lay on the couch and chew on that thing. I mean, God bless him.
Fair enough.
So that was my week, more or less. Just more realizations about how I'll never be able to commit.
Sure.
I'll die alone in this apartment to some sort of animal eating my face.
Yeah.
What else happened? Bought some records. That's about it. Oh, and I'm playing Super Mario World on Super Nintendo. I bought a Super Nintendo. On
Super Nintendo? Okay, I think I might. Well, I played Mario Kart.
I'm playing Super Mario World, and the obscenities it is pulling out of my
sure.
I mean, it is so fucking hard. So
is it one of those get the mushrooms in each world or get the stars in each world or whatever?
It's typical Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, you go from point A to point B, and you get the mushrooms and you grow, and you get the feather and you fly, and the fireball flower and all that stuff. But God damn it, I'm on a stage now where there's wizards that appear and throw things at you, and then they disappear, and sometimes they reappear like right under you, and you die. It's very frustrating.
I really love a Mario-style game, or like, really the games that aren't fighting and shooting really are all the games that I love. But, especially since I enjoy the occasional weed, I can't have them in the house. I don't need another vice to lose hours to. You know what I mean?
I don't play it for hours because usually by minutes...
I think I would.
Minute 14, I'm in such a blind rage that I have to shut it off. So
did I ever talk on this podcast about me and my old roommate, how we, for like 2 weeks, tried to beat Wii Mario World?
No.
You ever play Wii Mario?
The side-scrolling one?
Yeah. I think it's got to be the best reviewed game. I mean, it was the most fun time of my life.
It's a great game.
And I realize how sad that is. But
it's a great game, and it's easy as shit.
It's not easy.
It's child's play.
No, because you have to...
Don't you come in here talking about Wii Mario. Sit down with some of that fucking shit that I got over there.
No, we did it where we had to go back into each level and get the 3 hidden stars, which is nearly impossible. So we listened to music. We played for about 12 hours a day. We were both unemployed. We barely spoke to each other. Had a ball. Went to bed at like 5 a.m. We'd wake up at noon, just pick up the controllers. Maybe order food here and there. And then when we finally beat it, also silently... we both stood up, turned to each other, and for maybe the first time in our roommateship, hugged.
Oh, wow.
And then we both went to bed at about 4 p.m.
Wow.
And it was maybe the best time of my life.
Oh, my God.
If I were to edit the highlights of it together, the music over it would be, I've had the time of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be The Boys Are Back in Town?
No, I think that's overdone.
All right. Fair enough. We're talking about these light things, dogs, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Real dark undercurrent under all of it, though, isn't there?
There is. I mean, I did a lot of thinking today because I rewatched The Neon Demon, and I'm not gonna.
You sat through it again today.
I love the film.
Boy, I can't wait.
But it's a movie about aging and how everybody craves being young, and I was really just kind of like, you just get older and older, and then you die. And I was kind of like, the whole youth thing is over for me. You can sort of pretend you're still in it, but you're not.
No, you're absolutely not. You're not in it anymore. Though we accept it. What can you do?
You just get older. That's it. I mean,
very somber note.
There's no going back. This is our life.
The gray hairs of your beard scrape against the mic.
It's true.
Microphone. All right. Well, we've caught up.
now I'm depressed again. I don't feel any different than I did even 10 years ago. So I guess I shouldn't really complain. I have my fucking health.
Well, it's you know,
It's just kind of.
Pat. They say you're only as old as you feel.
That's true.
You know.
I mean, I've always felt like a cool 60. But, I just mean I don't, like, get tired early. My joints don't ache. My back doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I've had the same or similar problem. I've always just felt I haven't reached my appropriate age yet.
Okay.
People say I feel older than I am. I feel younger than I am because I'm still waiting to be an old, angry man.
Yeah. Well, it's coming.
Yeah.
And there are flashes of it now, certainly.
Can we get into your movie review or your movie roundup segment? Because I saw something today that I really want to talk about.
Sure. I mean, again, I've been very busy, and I have not seen anything except I watched the Dave Chappelle at the Palladium special, which was hilarious.
Heard it was great.
I have not watched Sacramento yet. I'm trying to treat myself and space him out a little bit. But, man, it was just so funny. And the people who are upset about it, you just really got to be like, shut up. You know, he talks about some controversial things. He always has, folks. And he's a 42-year-old African-American man talking about how he sees the world, which is the job of stand-up. Quit getting upset about everything.
It's
if you are, and I don't believe you are.
It's their job to say the things we think.
Yes.
Because they see the world from a different angle.
Yes.
Right, Pet?
Yes.
Folks. You said folks like an AM call-in show. Folks, that's what he's always done. Get with the program.
It's just irritating. I mean, he does a pretty lengthy bit about how, boy, gays and transsexuals, we're throwing them the rights right out of the gate. No,
right.
It took black people a very long time. And then people are like, well, you know, don't you know that gays and transsexuals have been around much longer than this and blah, blah, blah. Of course he knows, gang. He's a comedian making jokes. And sometimes you exaggerate things to comedic effect. Christ. It's all over the Twitter today. It's driving me nuts.
Who was saying it on Twitter? Anybody we know?
I'm not going to name names.
Oh, that's a yes. I'll get it out of you later. Pat
no, you can get it out of me. I mean, look.
Pat and I are having a few drinks right now, as usual, and then we're going to a party. So I'm going to corner you at this party, and we're gonna get down to the real dirty.
I'll happily tell you, and I understand people's point of view. I especially understand it if you're a homosexual man or woman and you have issues with what Dave Chappelle discussed in that special. What I am not really going to tolerate is the white guy who's going to tell Dave Chappelle how to talk about race because it bothers what he thinks is appropriate treatment of homosexuals.
Was it?
Now, he is neither.
Was it Jamie Kilstein?
It wasn't Jamie Kilstein. I just, like, you don't have to, like, I don't know. It's these people who come to everyone's defense or whatever. It's like, nobody asked you, and they don't need you. And what it comes from is decades of watching Matthew McConaughey save Samuel L. Jackson in Time to Kill. Or, the white guy come in, or Matthew McConaughey in that Slave movie that just happened.
It's a sneakier thing than that. It's most of the time a guy thinking that he will get laid by looking super sensitive.
You know, that's the dark truth of it, and that is Jamie Kilstein, of course. But,
folks, as they say.
I'm just saying, like, we're all on the same team. We should help each other out, but sometimes it's like, it's not your place. That's all I'm saying. It's not your place.
White man.
And now I will tell you, I saw somebody who was upset about it who was a homosexual man. That didn't bother me in the slightest. I'm like, yeah, you're living that life. You get to speak about it.
Sure.
That's just it.
Sure. But you don't like the whites.
I don't. You know what the truth is? I don't like the whites. And when I see people online talking about, I hate, middle-aged white men or old white men or whatever, I'm like, I do too. And that's what I'm trying to fend off, by
the funny part
still going to house parties at age 36.
The funny part is the savior bleeding heart white guys are as annoying as the right-wing fascist white guys.
I mean,
it's just there's a real problem with
they're
white
on the
guys.
right side, but yeah, they're definitely equally as annoying.
It's a real thorn in the side situation with the white guys these days.
It is.
But hey, what are you gonna do? I want to tell you about this movie I saw, Pat.
Please.
Saw today on the Lifetime channel. Now, this is a little bit of a game we're going to play here. Title of the movie, Double Mommy.
Why are you watching a movie called Double Mommy?
Because it was called Double Mommy.
All right, who was in it?
Only name I recognized in the entire thing was Bruce Boxleitner of Tron fame.
I can't even picture Bruce Boxleitner, but I know he was in a great deal of movies.
He's
in
the
80s.
other guy in Tron.
I never saw the Bridges Tron. I only saw the Tron Emerald Lagasse.
The what?
Tron,
Bridges is in both Trons.
No, but there's the Bridges Tron Legacy.
Yeah, and then there's the original that Bridges is also
which I
in.
called Tron Legacy because I
okay.
imagined that it was starring Emerald Lagasse.
Well, Bruce Boxleitner's
and
in
I
that.
convinced the girl I was dating that we were seeing Tron Legacy and that Emerald was the star of it.
Oh, that's
It
beautiful.
was a good little bit that I did.
They're both in both.
Boxleitner's in Neutron?
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
the
burning doing
guy.
the Neutron dance?
No, he's the guy that is like at the company board meeting that tells Jeff Bridges' kid to
okay.
go find him.
I thought Tron. I'm completely interrupting you, but I thought Tron Legacy was pretty sweet. I saw it in 3D, and when I went to Mexico with my lovely fiance, went to this place called Coco Bongo, and if you ever go to Mexico, you have to go to this place.
It's an Emerald Lagasse restaurant, isn't
Yes,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But they go from 9 o'clock till 5 a.m. They do these 15-minute shows. So the first one will be like Beatles impersonators. They're always Mexican, of course. And they'll do like A Hard Day's Night and play like another Beatles song.
But it'll be El Hard Day's Nighto, right?
Yes, exactly.
Let's do that bit.
Then I think we're done. Then out comes like Beetlejuice, and then they do Shake, 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 Sonora, and they fly through the crowd.
Okay.
And this is just like a packed nightclub.
Right.
And when you walk in, your total is $80 if you want unlimited like vodka with an XXX on the bottle,
Okay.
like literally Everclear.
When does the Emerald Lagasse impersonator come out?
Or you pay $100 and get top shelf, which I'm sure is watered down probably. But so
Why? Because they're Mexicans, Pat? You racist?
no,
I mean,
no,
I get
because-
it. You don't like the White Knights, but you don't got to go in the other direction right
no,
now.
I think it was watered down because we both wound up violently shitting the next day.
Oh, okay.
For hours.
Okay.
So that's why I think there was some water in it.
Maybe they slipped you one of those. God, this is a bad joke. You ready?
Yeah.
Maybe they slipped you one of those new date rape drugs. They're called Dookies.
Whew. Oh boy.
It's a bad joke. I know. I'm sorry.
So anyhow,
Good.
we get drunk. I see like 4 of them. They do like I said, Beetlejuice, and then they do Tron. And the Tron one, these guys are literally like flying motorcycles around the venue, like through the air, flying motorcycles. Trapeze artists.
And folks, Bruce Boxleitner is in this.
He was
That's
in
how
this
bad
show
it's going.
too. They offered him a free meal, and he went down across the border. But it was like one of the greatest shows I've ever seen, except the next day I realized that Heather was like, what about that crazy Elvis one? What about that crazy Beyonce one? What about that crazy Jay-Z one? And then I was like, oh, I blacked out for almost the entirety of this event.
Oh, and speaking of blacking out during an amazing event,
Yeah.
we buried the lead. Pat and I saw Wu-Tang Clan the other night.
I didn't black out at the Wu-Tang Clan.
I didn't black out, but I left going. The next day I was like, it's a very short show. They only played about 7 songs. And then I started having jarring memories come back to me of oh, no, they did all these songs from the Jizz's album. They did all these Method Man songs. They had Old Dirty Bastard Son come out. I had forgotten all that. They did all the Raekwon and Ghostface solo stuff.
Yeah, it was an amazing show.
It was really, really good.
But, yeah, I mean, you could have easily gotten high in there without smoking anything.
Oh, we were pretty high.
We were
Pat
also
and I
smoking things.
ate 2 edibles and smoked a lot of weed and drank a lot.
Yeah, it was fun.
Anyway.
But I want the closing of my story,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that I interrupted your story to tell my story,
Well,
is that
welcome to Hollywood.
we went to another island in Mexico, or not an island, but another city in Mexico.
Mhm.
And we were walking out, and I was kind of bummed out that I had missed the show. And I realized as we were out walking around that there was a second Coco Bongo, and there's 2 locations in Mexico.
Right.
I said, Heather, would you hate me if we saw it again? We saw it again.
This time they did a Groundhog Day number.
This time I drank much less. But if you're ever in either of these cities that I can't remember in Mexico, just Google Coco Bongo, because it's going to be your best night there. I had an absolute blast.
Folks, go to Mexico and just Google the 2 most Mexican words you can think of.
If you look up Coco Bongo, you'll find it. It's the best $100 you'll ever spend.
All right, now, I'm sitting on the couch today. I'm flipping through my Sling TV app.
All right.
I come across the Lifetime Network, which I don't usually come across because it's way down at the end of the dial.
Yeah.
But I went down into No Man's
Usually
Land.
if I'm
No
coming
Man's
across,
Land.
I'm watching Cinemax After Dark movie.
Yeah, that's clever. No Man's Land. Lifetime to the No Man's Land. Get it?
That should have been their slogan at some
It
point.
should have been, right?
All right.
I see.
Ruined a perfectly good cum joke, but all right.
I see a movie is currently playing. It is called Double Mommy.
Yeah.
I say
Like double whammy?
Double Mommy.
But is that the pun?
Well,
All right.
now here's my thought. Double Mommy, there's some sort of zany twin mother switcheroo thing happening.
Like Big Business
Yes.
with Bette Midler and Lily Tomlin.
Yes. And I just watched Baby Boom the other day, which doesn't have any twins or any switcherooing,
No.
but it's still a nice heartwarming comedy about motherhood. So I say I'm in. I'm hooked on the title, Double Mommy. I hit the select button, which first brings you to a screen where it gives you a breakdown of the film,
Yes.
a synopsis, if you will. And it also gives you the option to start where it is or start it from the beginning. I immediately, after reading synopsis, chose start from the beginning. Double Mommy. You want to take any wild guesses what this film was about?
She's a mom with a double life. She has two families.
Not even cool, let alone warm.
Then tell me.
She's pregnant,
All right.
okay, with twins.
All right.
All right, here we go. We're on our way to a zany kind of affair.
Right.
What's the problem? Well, here's the problem. Her twins have two different fathers. Okay, I'm listening.
All right.
I'm listening. One's going to be Jim Belushi. One's going to be Harvey Fierstein. I don't know.
Wow. All right.
But you get where my head's going.
I do.
Here's the next sentence. One is the man she's in love with. The other, a product of date rape. This is the plot of the movie. It's not a comedy.
So
It is it is nowhere near a comedy, and it's called Double Mommy.
well, Lifetime doesn't really do comedies, but was she She was like walking to the store with her husband's jizz in her, and then she got raped. Is that what happened?
She was dating somebody, and I guess it was very convoluted, the plot. The friend of the boyfriend that she just broke up with was consoling her. Then he date rapes her with the roofie. And then she gets back together with the boyfriend immediately, and then she has twins. But then one of them is fathered by the boyfriend, but one's It's an insane type of a film.
So it wasn't based on a true story.
I would guess not.
Wouldn't both nuts have to be inside of you for that to even be feasible? Which it isn't.
Pat, you're focusing on the wrong aspects of this film.
Who portrayed Double Mommy?
Who the hell knows?
All right.
I don't know who it was.
All right. Well, that's a juicy role.
Not with this writing.
All right.
Not with this writing.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's a really, really bad. And I found out that it's an unofficial sequel to a film Lifetime did called Double Daddy.
Now, how would that work?
Double Daddy was about a guy that got two women pregnant at the same time, and then one's going to kill him
Okay.
because she's angry. This movie
that
is
makes sense at least.
This movie is Double Mommy, which is two. It doesn't make sense because Double Daddy is two mommies and Double Mommy is two daddies. But here's the thing.
I can't believe we're sitting watching a Lifetime movie on a Saturday.
Here's how the guy that she says he raped me and he's the father of one of my twins.
This is a new film.
Yeah,
2016.
this is brand new.
All right.
This is how he's gonna clear his name. His plan is to murder the mother.
Wow.
So she can't say he's a rapist anymore. So he
Okay.
thinks that if I murder her, it'll all be fine. It's an insane film.
Look, I'm very interested in it now.
It's got about 2 stars on your IMDb charts.
All right.
So,
There's one to watch, folks. Double Mommy.
Double Mommy.
You watched this whole thing?
No. I watched it until they would let me wouldn't let me fast forward anymore.
Okay.
Because it got up to where it was playing live on TV, and I couldn't fast forward anymore. But I watched enough, Pat. I got the gist of it.
The gist of it.
Oh, don't come on. All right, look, we're 25 minutes in here. You want to get into our?
Let's do it.
Our meat of the podcast.
Yes, we're talking about the 2016 film, much like Double Mommy, The Neon Demon, directed by Nicolas Winding Refn, written by Refn and two ladies, music by the great Cliff Martinez, which I really feel to be a star of the film. Another character.
Is Cliff Martinez also he didn't do the music for Drive though?
He did do the music for Drive.
But he's got a stage name that he goes by. I believe.
Well, he does the score, but I mean there were other artists that had songs on the soundtrack.
But like all the synthy
I think it's just Cliff Martinez.
No. There's an artist with a name that's not Cliff Martinez who has songs in Drive. It might be Cliff Martinez's sort of stage name.
All right.
Anyway, give us a synopsis of the Neon Demon, if you will.
Well, it's easier said than done. I mean, the basic premise is Elle Fanning, Dakota Fanning's little sister, comes to Los Angeles. She's 16 years old. She has a dream of being a model. She meets up with some women who are models. They are immediately jealous and catty toward her because she is so youthful and beautiful, and they are aging out of the modeling industry, even though they are beautiful and probably only in their late 20s. It's hard to even describe what happens next. I don't want to spoil anything, and also it's sort of open to interpretation.
Let's spoil it.
But they are essentially vampires trying to get her blood in the hopes that it will make them younger.
No, I didn't take that from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, but that's also something that's revealed. You're talking the last 15 minutes of the film or something like that.
Yeah, I mean they're blood suckers.
Well, they eat her.
Yeah.
They eat her whole at the end of the film.
Yes.
And then vomit her up.
Yes.
And the one that doesn't vomit her up gets to keep working.
Correct.
And the one that does vomit her up can't hack it and whatever.
Correct.
So I guess, yes, the point is they eat her and they'll be... Now, here's your linchpin. This is what the whole movie is hanging on.
David Lynchpin.
Yeah.
It's a Lynchian film, folks.
I mean, this wasn't even a David Schwimmer pin for me. But the whole movie is hanging on this. This is what it's all building up to. This is what the whole point of the film is. And this is my problem with the film. I have many problems with the film. We'll get into all of them. But my biggest problem with the film is there is absolutely nothing. I'll say it again.
Oh, Jesus.
Nothing that hints at that builds toward that foreshadows that in any way. It's literally like you're watching a Bret Easton Ellis movie depicting the shallowness of Hollywood, and then all of a sudden there's a scene where they're going to eat her, and essentially because she won't fuck Jenna Malone. Jenna Malone tries to sleep with her. She has a negative reaction to it, and then they murder her. And they don't even show you them eating her. They just show you them like sort of bathing in her what you can assume is her blood.
Yeah, showering nakedly in her blood.
Which doesn't make sense. Like, how is the blood being brought into the shower? Because they kill her in the pool, and somehow the pool drain is filtering to the shower head somehow?
I mean, you're already approaching it completely wrong.
Why?
And I'd also like to add, you watched this on your phone, correct?
No, I watched it on my iPad, which is a plenty big screen.
No, it isn't for a movie like this.
Yes, it is.
This is really a movie to see in the theater, or certainly with great sound.
Look, I had my headphones buried in my ears. The sound was plenty good.
I mean, it's just not a movie to watch on a plane. Yeah, the movie to watch on a plane is like a legal drama or something.
I don't agree. I enjoy films on a plane.
I mean, also, you're watching completely naked women shower in blood surrounded by people. That's an odd move.
Yeah. You should have seen how the guy next to me, what he was doing.
Folks. Yeah,
he went to the bathroom 3 times, if you know what I mean.
If you go into, Drive is a much more narrative movie. I know you hate Drive.
It's also a shit film. But yeah. It's okay. Listen, we were real nice the first couple episodes. Let's get into this.
I mean, Drive is one of my favorite films of the past 5 years.
It's an insane man talking.
It's one of my favorite films of the past 5 years.
It's an insane statement.
I've seen it 10 times. I never get bored of
It's
it.
a glorified music video. That's all it is. And so is this.
Yeah, well, it's what we also call in the film world pure cinema. Because
who calls it that?
well, certainly film school, my professor Roy Zurich, pure cinema is Hitchcock. These are the moments that don't require dialogue, which is not even really supposed to be
These movies,
the point of the medium.
Can I say this? And I didn't say that like you weren't letting me talk. I'm just saying like,
Sure.
Can I say what I'm about to say?
Of course.
I am offended that you would put this man anywhere near Hitchcock in a sentence, let alone in the field.
Well, I'm not putting him up against him as though they're equals or something, but I think he is a true auteur in that his movies sort of look and feel the same, much like a John Carpenter, who we'll be discussing next week with Christine. And I'm going to compare him to him as well, both musically, the music in these movies, and also just in the way he shoots things. I think this movie, much more than Drive, is really supposed to be like an art exhibit. I mean, it opens on like a minute shot of what just appears to be an art exhibit in a museum.
Okay, you know
that
what?
you're watching on your iPad.
You know what? You want it to be a fucking art exhibit? Go hang it in the fucking Museum of Modern Art downtown in LA.
You should.
Okay.
And he could.
But here's the thing.
They have a film division.
I go down to the Museum of Modern Art. I look at the video displays and the video exhibits and stuff. I think they're fascinating. They're crazy and they're weird and they're more visual than anything else. And I love them. But put it in a fucking museum. This guy wants people to go watch his goddamn movies like they're movies, and they're not. They are fucking extended music videos, and that's what bothers me.
Well,
silence is not an art.
I mean, Drive is an action movie. Drive is. I could definitely see finding the Neon Demon boring or not satisfying on a narrative level. Drive is a fucking action movie. And
Drive
a very
is
suspenseful one at that.
Drive. Let me say this. Drive is not an action movie. Drive has action sequences. Drive.
That's an action movie, Joe.
Okay, fine. I'll give you that.
I mean, it wasn't a comedy. It had a bunch of jokes in it.
We'll call it an action movie. Fine, sure. But when it comes to the writing in that film, it is piss fucking poor. And I don't care if Albert Brooks got nominated for an Oscar or not.
Rightfully
I'm a
so.
huge Albert Brooks fan. I thought he did a very good job with that material. I thought he was convincing. But one of the lines in Drive literally is Albert Brooks, who's supposed to be a gangster, even though they never really show anything of how he's a gangster. They just say he's a gangster. Fine. So is Ron Perlman. And it's proven by a scene where they're, for some reason, all in tuxedos after hours in a pizzeria dancing with women. Because, that's what gangsters would do. Anyway.
It was something different. This is what gangsters in the movie Drive did. It's not what you expected or wanted it to be. That goes for Drive and the Neon Demon, so you hate it.
No.
Instead of letting yourself go, I'm going to check this out instead.
No. In the scene,
you didn't see a demon's face.
In the
so
big
you're
scene,
mad.
I'm not mad about that. In the big scene in Drive where they're supposed to finally show you their business, this is the dialogue.
This is a baffling gripe with Drive.
This is the dialogue.
You're missing the point.
You ready
of
for the
Drive,
dialogue?
Clearly.
You ready
Yes.
for the dialogue?
Yeah.
I did that for you because I wanted to take care of the business back east. That's a line in Drive. That's literally what I would have written when I was 14 years old.
Joe, that's not the point of Drive.
What's the point? That Ryan Gosling is beautiful and can be silent in an interesting way? Is that the point of Drive?
Well, no, they removed his dialogue, which I think is very interesting because anything he'd be saying would be stupid.
Well,
and the gangsters, they give them very minimal suggestive dialogue because they're trying to do almost a silent movie.
It's terrible, and they weren't trying to do a silent movie. I don't buy that.
Well, it's just wall-to-wall music. I think calling it a music video is needlessly harsh. Every action movie, to some extent, is a music video.
Neon Demon, even more so.
Yeah.
Explain to me then the silence of Neon Demon. Every character is quiet for long periods of time. You're supposed to just... What the fuck? That whole thing with, there's a panther in a room or whatever the fuck that was?
Yeah, well, I mean, Drive at least holds... There's nothing that happens in Drive that is like, oh, I don't believe this could happen. The Neon Demon is in a heightened world. And the Panther and shit, you're just supposed to make what you want out of it. I think the Panther, if I had to say what it represents, and this is always kind of jerking off, but it represents these predators that are going to try to fuck her and take her soul in Hollywood, which they will, which should be a message you relate to.
I get the idea of predators. I get the idea that in the end, she is becoming the predator.
Yes.
And then literally she's eaten. It's just not very strong. It's very trite to me. It's very obvious. It's very on the sleeve. It's not very smart to me. Now the guy can shoot the fuck out of a movie. I'll give him that. The guy knows how to put a picture to music like nobody else.
That to me is very important. Like how is that not a top 2 for you in going to a movie?
It is important, but it's not. It's not all that there is. Scorsese knows how to do that. He also knows how to deliver a good script and interesting
this guy
characters.
is doing something different. Why can't that be okay? Like David Lynch was doing something different. It's not a narrative movie either.
Let me tell you something. When they make a movie, this is what pisses me off about this guy's fucking movies. Okay,
all right.
Is because the intellectual types, right? They go, oh, he's doing something different. It's brilliant. It's daring. It's this and that. If you did what this guy did, except in another direction, it would be fucking Commando. It would be like a bad Schwarzenegger or Stallone movie. It would be all flash, no substance. His films are all flash and no substance.
But I think he would love that comparison to Commando.
God bless him.
He's clearly obsessed with 80s music, movies, etc. And like to me, it follows as like Horror Drive. It's just a beautiful movie, and it's kind of a mood thing, and it kind of washes over you. And the message there, about STDs is pretty obvious as well. But
explain that to me, because I did miss that. I'm not being smart.
What?
The STD message.
I'm talking It Follows.
Oh, and It Follows.
Yeah, I mean, they take their
Wonderful
little theme and they run with it. But the Neon Demon, and I, as I said when I saw it, I would never recommend it to anyone. When the second the lights went up at the end of the movie, and it's a big anticlimax of the movie, this guy behind me said to his girlfriend, "You're never picking the fucking movie again," with no humor in his voice. He sounded very angry with
Now,
her.
doesn't that mean anything to you that you would never recommend the movie to anybody even though you love it so much?
Does that mean that I shouldn't love it?
No, I'm just
that's
saying.
Stupid.
Doesn't that mean anything to your understanding how somebody like me could hate it so much?
Yeah, but not Drive. I think that Drive is a movie that, like Anchorman, like Lebowski, like various other movies, I think Frat Guys kind of ruined. They took it too far, and you can't see it as anything other than some meathead fantasy. But when I first saw Drive, knowing nothing about it, I went back in and saw it again right after. And I brought our buddy Pete to see it. It's his favorite movie of all time. And people love that movie. The Neon Demon people love too, but it's kind of a smaller group because it is designed really to be completely non-rewarding to the viewer. I mean, there's no real payoff to it.
Pete also thinks The National is the best band that's ever lived.
Yes,
but
a lot of people like The National as well, as do I.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying it's not the best band.
I mean, I didn't love it when that Halloween 3 years back when every guy in Silver Lake was wearing the Gosling jacket either. But I think there's a reason that movie became so iconic and so beloved is that it's a fucking awesome movie.
I will say this. A, I will give Drive another chance.
Please, you should.
Look at that. Look, we're making progress here.
Yeah.
I will give Drive another chance. B, fuck the Neon Demon for all time. It doesn't matter that I watched it on my iPad. It's a piece of shit.
Well, it does matter that you watched it on your iPad.
It doesn't. It does not. It absolutely does not.
To me, that's so insulting as a film fan. I don't even mean just the Neon Demon.
Why is it insulting?
It is insulting that you can claim to be such a film fan, but also say, you can watch any movie on your iPad. It doesn't matter.
It's a goddamn retina screen. It was a nighttime flight. It's dark. I have my headphones in.
Smaller than like the TV you grew up with. It's a tiny surface to watch what should be on a giant screen with the best possible sound quality.
I am not. Well, sorry, Mr. Warbucks. We don't have that opportunity,
you
everybody.
To the theater. I mean, when I was
theater.
sitting in the theater, granted pretty high, I intentionally saw it alone, and I just sat in that center seat and had the most wonderful fucking time just watching cool images and
Okay.
listening to cool music. And
that's
that to me isn't more than enough.
So
when 95% of what I see is absolutely terrible,
okay, so
visually and from a
this was
story
the same
standpoint
argument you
and
made
everything.
about Zach and Miri need wedding dates or whatever that fucking movie is called.
Zach and Miri make a
The
porno.
wedding
Mike
dates
and Dave
one.
need wedding dates.
Mike and Dave need wedding dates. This was the same
My
argument.
point
you
was
made
it's a
for it.
comedy. I laughed enough for me to call it a successful comedy,
Now, but
even though
here's-
it's not a great movie.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sure, Pat. If I was high out of my fucking mind,
I wasn't when I
sitting
saw
in the,
Mike and Dave.
No, the other one, Neon Demon.
Yeah.
If I was high out of my mind,
It wasn't out of my mind,
okay. If I was high, can we not split hairs? If I
Yeah.
was high
In a
sitting,
theater.
sitting in a dark, cool movie theater, cool
Yeah.
meaning temperature-wise, watching this thing with the sound blaring and all that stuff, yeah, I might have liked it. You know what else? I might have liked fucking Radiohead's last 3 albums if I listened to them in that circumstance. But you put them on in my living room, I go, turn this the fuck off. It's boring. That's all I'm saying.
All
and,
right.
And you can't define a movie's quality by the circumstance with which you need to watch
Yes, you
it.
can.
It needs to transcend that.
it doesn't need to transcend it. Certain movies, as I said, a romantic comedy, a legal thriller, these are all movies that you should watch and can watch on your iPad. An art film, which I would consider this.
Oh, God.
Maybe you don't consider it art, but it's an art film. It would rank in the art film section of Blockbuster.
Well, then that must mean it's good.
No, I just said it doesn't mean it's good. Or a Blockbuster film, whatever.
Blockbuster would put it in the art section.
There are certain movies that you should see on a big screen, and for somebody to be a movie fan and not think that's true is ridiculous, frankly.
Pat,
It's stupid.
you know how much I love Star Wars, right?
Would you watch that on an iPad for the first time?
Yes.
That's stupid.
It's not stupid.
It is
Here's
stupid.
the thing. But here's why it's not stupid. Because if you watch Star Wars on your iPad the first time, you would still go, that was a good movie. There were plot points.
I don't know.
There was a story. There was character development. This doesn't have any of that.
If
This
I'm
is
on a
just visuals.
plane and I'm watching Star Wars on my iPad, then I'm like, oh God, somebody just came out of the bathroom and now it stinks in here. Then I'm looking up at the guy who's falling
I
asleep
don't-
on my arm.
I
Then
don't
I'm like,
do that.
yeah, you know what? I will take a Coke. Thank you very much. You're paying no attention, which is the problem with this generation.
This is you. This isn't me.
Well,
I was paying attention.
If you're fully engrossed on your iPad to the Neon Demon for the entire runtime, and you had great sound on this 6-inch screen, then more power to you.
I wasn't
I don't
listening
buy it.
out of the iPad speakers. I had my earbuds in. The sound
Earbuds is the worst sound quality in the
Oh,
world.
for God's sake.
The iPhone earbud, the white ones,
Yes.
there's no worse sound than those.
Okay.
There's
It's the
no
only,
worse
Only
sound.
the way I listen to
At least get a
60%
Beats
of my
by
music.
Dre or something.
I have Beats by Dre headphones. You know what? The earbuds sound better. That's the truth.
They definitely do not
They
sound better.
100%.
They're tinny and shit.
Listen, because you can't focus when a guy takes a shit doesn't mean that I can't do the opposite.
I think you're not. I mean, you can hardly focus on Logan in a movie theater.
Okay, all right. Listen,
Bouncing around.
I focused on the Neon Demon.
How much
Listen,
sighing was going
Why
on?
don't you meet me part way here? Because I'm meeting you part way. I'm going to give Drive another shot. Meet me half.
So I'll remove a time that I watched Drive?
No,
Is that meeting in the middle?
I'm saying meet me part way and say you gave Neon Demon a shot. You didn't like it.
No, I already said. I said you wouldn't like it before you even saw it.
But can I say a nice thing about this man?
It's for smart people.
And it's God, you fucking people.
Drive and
by
Neon
that I
Demon are for
mean
smart people.
Whatever heritage you are, I
And you
mean, whatever heritage you are, you fucking people. This is.
And you know what? I loved Only God Forgives,
I didn't see it.
which everyone hates, and that's kind of the action of Drive mixed with the art filmness of the Neon Demon.
I would
It's
like
a
to
great
give an
underrated movie.
accolade to the director,
Nicolas Winding Refn.
Bronson.
Great movie.
One of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
One of his early films. I loved it. I wish Bronson, visually spectacular,
It was.
wonderfully acted,
It was.
beautifully framed. Everything looked like a painting, but there was a story. There were words.
I don't need it.
Oh, God.
And I don't
All
need it
right.
with Lynch either, because when I watched the
This
Neon,
was not Lynch. He is.
it was lesser Lynch, but it was Lynch, because when I go to a
Way
David
less.
Lynch movie, I go, I'm going to be in a dream for 2 hours and see amazing shit and listen to amazing music. And when I went to the Neon Demon, that's exactly what I did. And I felt like I was watching a dream. It didn't always make sense to me. I didn't give a shit. But you got to
Listen to what you're saying.
certain movies you got to shut that part of your brain
what
off.
You're saying right now.
Films do not have to be. They don't have to
Listen
make
what you're
perfect sense
You're
to you.
saying it didn't make sense to me, but I didn't care. Therefore,
That's
it was
exactly
good.
right. Movies don't have to make sense to me, and they shouldn't have to make sense to you.
Look,
you should open your mind a little bit.
My mind is open. Look at those shelves.
Joe, your mind is one of the least open minds of all time.
I've got a hell of a collection over there. My mind is open. I watch a lot of different stuff. What I'm saying is I do not like a movie, and I said it about.
And I'm saying I do like a movie.
Fine, but I also said it about the Argento, Suspiria, and Inferno films. I said, are they terrible? No, but it's a lot of visuals at the expense of logic, and I don't like it that much.
Okay. I mean, I think to sort of prove that he likes having fun with people and kind of fucking with people, you can watch that documentary about him and his wife on Netflix that I love because he seems like a really fascinating and kind of funny dude who's extremely insecure. Winding Refn I'm talking about. But he's remaking Maniac Cop.
He's remaking it?
This is a guy who likes schlock. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, that is perfect to me.
He's the guy remaking it?
He's remaking Maniac Cop.
Listen, now I will say this.
Yes.
You know my love for Maniac Cop 1 and 2. I know yours.
We did one live in Littleton, Colorado, home of the Columbine shootings.
I will be there on opening night.
I can't wait to see it. I think that he is an extremely exciting visual director, and if and when, because Lynch only did it a handful of times, Straight Story, Elephant Man, if and when Refn decides that he wants to make like a really traditional narrative film, because he could get the Blade Runner franchise or something like that easily if he wanted it, I think that will be extremely exciting and a great mix of art and commerce. In that meantime, if he wants to fuck around and this is the result, couldn't be happier.
All right. Fair enough.
That's for me.
Fair enough. Pat Walsh, everybody. He likes colors and flashy
I
shit.
do. Honestly, I like neon. I love Enter the Void.
And I like demons.
You ever see Enter the Void?
Into the Void?
Enter the Void.
No, who's that?
That's a movie that almost nobody has seen, and everybody should do it. It's about 5 years old. It's completely nuts. It's a Gaspar Noé movie, but there's a lot of sex in it and everything else. But it's all very like neon. There's lots of like extremely long takes. At one point, he fucks her, and it's done from the point of view of the dick, like a camera attached to an actual dick. It's one of the wildest things you've ever seen. They basically take acid, and you're on this journey with them throughout the night in Japan, Tokyo, I believe. Check it out.
All right.
But that's a movie, too, where you got to be like, I'm going to have an evening here. I'm not going to be following a plot. To me, that's great. To Joe, that's bothersome. And that's what makes this country great.
That's homework for me and everybody else. I will check out this film you're talking about, but I am also going to, for extra credit, rewatch Drive, and we will return to this.
Please do. I think you'll appreciate Drive. I mean, the first 25 minutes is one of the best action sequences.
I enjoyed the first 25 minutes.
Loved it.
All right, Patty. Let's wrap it up. You can follow me at Joe DeRosa Comedy on Twitter and Instagram. And please, folks, do me a favor. I got all these shitty reviews from these trolls. Go and give me some 5-star reviews on the albums. All right, go to the albums on iTunes and Amazon, stand-up albums. Give me some nice reviews. Other than that, that's all I got right now.
Folks,
and thank you for everything, by the way.
You hate me for everything?
No, I said thank you for everything. The people.
Oh, yes.
The fans.
I thought that Joe was closing his time by saying, Pat, I hate you for everything.
Why would I do that?
I didn't know. That's why I acted so scared. Folks, I'm at the Patrick Walsh on Twitter and Instagram. Again, we love the comments. We're taking them into consideration. Obviously, we're doing some older movies now. I mean, really, what's so great about the comments is that somebody would be like, when are you guys going to do a new movie? And then the next comment will be, when are you guys going to do an old movie?
Right.
Everybody likes different things. So we're trying to reach everybody. Next week is Christine, John Carpenter's and Stephen King's Christine. Folks, thank you very much. This has been a HeadGum podcast. We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.